Hello and welcome back to Train Sim 2 with me, Vasil and Trey. Today we're going to take over a train, superfruit train or refrigerator train, or otherwise called perishable food train from Hermosa to Laramie Yard using the SD70 AC. Let's just begin. Take over the superfruit perishable food train from Hermosa to Laramie Yard. Okay. Now let's set up this train then before taking off. We must activate banking com. Now let's put the reverser here in action. We're waiting for the brakes to be released. We have like 3 SD70 ACE. We have 2-door boxcars. Let's inspect the train before leaving Hermosa for Laramie Yard. We have normal boxcars, and then we should have refrigerator cars. Yes, these ones here. But we can open the door. It's interesting. Just to see the inside of this type of train. It's interesting. Of course it's empty. Let's inspect to see. Or just too close. It was. And this is how it works. Okay, we checked everything. Now we can activate the locomotives. And let's see the rest of the train then. Let's see how long this train is. It's quite long, as you can see. You have a lot of refrigerator cars and then the normal box cars. You have one more locomotive at the back to push the train. That's an SD40-2. Good. We've seen the whole train now. We can just take the camera back again to explore the whole train, because now it's rolling. The train is moving actually. So let's see where we start. So we actually start here after we passed Hermosa tunnel. This is where we start every train service from Hermosa until Laramie. But with this type of train, the speed should be easier to manage because it's not an intermodal train. It's just train consisting of boxcars actually, normal boxcars and then refrigerator boxcars, let's say. And then we just went back to front locomotives. And now we're just going to let the train run. This is quite long, not very long, but still. We are just going to scroll until Laramie Yard to see if there are other trains coming. Let's see where we have to stop for today to begin with. Laramie Yard seems empty. No other trains to see. So we must stop here, the usual track, like every time we do. Okay. We're using the automatic brake, but I think we should use the independent brake. From here we can see the whole train. Maybe the dynamic brake should do the trick to control the speed of this train. It's very difficult controlling the speed when going downhill. Like this we see the whole train actually. What's in white are the refrigerator cars. What's in brown are the normal two-door boxcars. These are some numbers. Then UP, Union Pacific, it's UP actually. Then if we watch here, exterior paint, interior paint, there are a few codes actually. Primer paint and then underframe paint, and then a few data about the wagon itself. We still have only 40 miles till Laramie Yard. But the dynamic brake seems to do its work very well, so nor the automatic brake or the independent brake can hold this heavy train, only with dynamic brake. That's very well done, indeed. It's also fun transporting different types of freight cars, like this one. Then the intermodal, which is, in my opinion, the longest train, can have up to 120 cars. I'm also gonna do a job like that when delivering from Laramie to Cheyenne Yard, or from Cheyenne Yard to Hermosa. This will be the next services. But for now, we're delivering this train, and we must keep on using the dynamic brake. Only 30 miles until Laramie Yard. We finally are respecting the maximum speed. This is a side track used for defect trains. If there is something wrong with cars, then it can be left here. Then continue the journey. Then another locomotive needs to come and pick up the defect cars and bring them to a specific yard for maintenance. Or to be repaired. The sun is all the way here. If we put the camera like this, we can see the sun and then the train itself, just like that. But it's better to put it like this. One of the reasons why in America there are longer frets is because the distances are also very long, because America is a large country actually, and all those distances need to be covered, and in order to save fuel and a lot of trips, it's better to combine one train, make it bigger, and then in one shot deliver the train to a specific place, and then from there use switchers, other locomotives, to decouple the train and send it to the local interest piece for loading or unloading. This image is also perfect because sun and then the train turns to the right. It's also very great done, and the scenery is beautiful here. Only 10 miles is not bad so far. We can change the camera anytime we want to obtain a better view of the train itself. Now we passed the 10 miles. We can admire those refrigerator cars. You see what it says, RRIMN. Then there is a number. This is the front part, which makes sure that the wagon itself is cold inside. It's cool inside. And this is a special device here that delivers cool air and freeze and allows the products to remain at a lower temperature. For every wagon is like that. They are coupled from here. They can be decoupled from here, but if we do that now, then we have to start all over again this game. Just holding the camera to admire these refrigerator cars here for a while. Then we're going back to the front locals. This is the first time they appear in this game. They appeared in train simulators on PC. I've seen them in other American routes, and I wondered if they will appear on Train Simulator 2 for PS4 or Xbox or whatever, but this dream has become true. Here is the handbrake. Great. You can see the front locals from here because there are not so many normal boxcars. And now we can move the camera to see the curves here and see the remaining refrigerator cars. Like this. In America, it's necessary to have refrigerator freight cars because the distances are enormous, very long, and then by trucks to transport large quantities of goods, perishable food, also requires a lot of fuel to be consumed by the trucks, which is not very practical. By train, it's also very easy to take up to 100 refrigerator cars and deliver 10 times more perishable food. So in America it's a necessity to have this type of cars, but in Europe it's not necessary because the distances are not that great and it only use trucks to deliver perishable food. Now, as we can see here, we have the refrigerator boxcars and then the normal two-door boxcars. The locals are in front over here. If you move this camera, you can just move the camera here and see the free SD70 ACE locals. We are using currently the dynamic brake to maintain the speed because we are going downhill, and the dynamic brake proved to be the necessary tool to maintain the speed so far. Otherwise, by using automatic brake or independent brake is not going to be so practical, because this is a heavy fret too, a long fret. You need a brake that can maintain the speed over a long distance and longer time. Now, these are the normal boxcars here that you can see. Actually also the new boxcars that we haven't seen so far in other routes. In St. Pat's Grey, for example, they weren't present there. And then we have these refrigerator cars. There's this device here to make sure that the car inside is cool for certain products like meat, bananas, cheese, whatever you name it. And like I said, in America it's necessary to have these cars because the distances are long, and by truck transporting perishable food takes a lot of time and fuel, because America is a great vast country. The distances are longer than in Europe, so if you put Europe and United States aside, you can see that Europe is almost, the whole Europe is big as USA. So in the US it's necessary to have longer freight trains, I mean, and then several types of freight cars, more types of freight cars than in Europe. In Germany, for example, you can get from Aachen to Köln in half an hour or in 40 minutes transporting a freight train. There's also electricity, so electrical locomotives can pick up as many freight trains as they want. But in US it's impossible. In order to save fuel, there are more locomotives that couple to one train and then pick up a larger train, and they also save fuel by doing that. They bring a train of 120 cars in one yard, and then there are other switchers, local locomotives, which take over the train, separate it in several cars, and then deliver to local industries. We have a yellow, meaning that soon we will have to stop. We are very close to Laramie Yard. We haven't encountered any train so far. This is the Laramie cement industry here on this side, and I was looking for trains that might come from this track here onto the yard, but they aren't. There are no trains here so far. This has turned red. Okay. We are very close to Laramie Yard now. Only 3 miles left. Now we're very close to enter Laramie Yard. We're taking this curve, actually. We are very close now. Very close. We're just passing for Laramie Yard. Actually, the train doesn't stop here, but the driver needs to be changed, meaning that I need to leave the train and then let another driver take over the train. I'm just letting the train roll for a bit longer. Once we reach 0.6 a mile, we just going to brake. Now we're just letting the train ride for a while. We also successfully managed to arrive here. Now we can begin using the dynamic brake to see how fast this train can stop actually notch 5 of the dynamic brake. Let's because it takes longer time with this dynamic brake, and I want to see now before we reach the stop point. This is an industrial area where all cars are being brought and then the metals are used to recycle. So it seems that the dynamic brake is doing its job very well so far. We are close here. Now let's reactivate the dynamic brake again. It seems that for these locals the only brake that's working properly is the dynamic brake so far. Of course we have to activate them on time and in a longer distance, because otherwise we might just Let's see how this train will stop on time now if we put the dynamic brake on notch 8. Now we brought this train to a stop successfully here in Laramie Yard. Why does it stop? Maybe you should use another type of brake just to make sure. And then let's release the dynamic brake. Now let's use the independent brake to bring it to a stop. Great. We've done that successfully. Thanks everyone for having watched this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see each other with new videos of this Sherman Hill and in English and other languages, of course, like German, Spanish, Chinese. I hope you have a great day and see you next time.